It isn't your embrace or your delightful face that makes me know I made the wisest choice. And though your voice is not my favorite voice, I love to hear you sing off key in the key of Z. But hey, that's okay by me. I'll tell you why. My life is better by half. You make me laugh. Oh, see, there you go again. What? When I'm about to burst, the day has been the worst, and I can only sit and stew a while. You got a smile that always makes me smile, and that is halfway to a grin. Let the grin begin, precluding the mood I'm in. You should have been on David Letterman's staff. You make me laugh. And no matter the joy that we know in this life, there also will be tears. I can't think of anyone else who could soothe my fears, not these fears. And so I'm thunderstruck by my colossal luck. I always knew the one who won my heart would be funny and smart. Double duty, my sides are good and sore from rolling on the floor. And oh, there's one thing more. You make me laugh. Really? Oh my God, you are such a goof. You should have been on the Daily Show staff. You make me laugh. And no matter the joy that we know in this life, there also will be tears. I can't think of anyone else who could soothe my fears, not these fears. It isn't your embrace or your delightful face. It's more the way you make my spirit soar. As I mentioned before, I love your kind of kindness too. The little things you say and do, but most of all, the fact that you make me. Oh, come on. Oh! You are just. Hello, everyone. How are you? How are things going? Has anything like earth-shattering happened since we last met in our virtual short in October? Yeah, maybe. Okay, well, we'll get to that later. But right now, let's just jump into the show and say hello to our Christopher Denny.
Hi
Christopher!
there. How are you all?
How are
How are you,
you?
Anne?
I'm good. So, listen, everyone. As you know, that we're really trying to put together entertainment and forwarding the technology so we can have this collaboration like Chris and I are doing today. Um, and our forward movement for this episode is the video. So in our first episode, we were really good at getting the music in sync and we were live and remote and all those different things. But Chris was in this tiny little
Yeah.
box. And I was like, I said to Matt, I think it's hard for him to play the piano in that tiny little box. I said, can we get him bigger?
Yeah.
It's,
I'm a big guy, so yeah.
yeah. Did you notice a difference, Chris?
Yeah, I did. I felt much more relaxed in the bigger box.
See,
And speaking of Chris's video,
Yeah.
Chris, can you tilt your camera down just a hair so we see the keys a bit more?
Oh, yeah,
It
we
must
gotta see
have
the
turned
keys.
itself back up. Yeah, perfect.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Matt Berman,
That's
our tech
the Matt
guru,
Berman.
the Matt Berman, who is making this all possible with Jam Kazam. We were a little bit delayed doing our second episode because Jam Kazam has been so busy updating and stuff, and it actually got a little unstable. It was updating so much, so we kind of gave it a little time to settle, and so here we are. Right?
Anne, would
Yeah.
you turn your interface down just a little bit? And I'm going to turn you up over here. I've got the headroom. We were just clipping on the big stuff.
Okay, how's that?
Well, I'll know after you sing the next big note. Notes
Okay.
after this song. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, I got you. All right. So, okay, we're going to go right into our next song, which is my mother's favorite song. And the reason why I chose this, you know what? I think it's because it's my way of celebrating Thanksgiving with my mother because we're not going to be together. And I think that, in the over 90 years that she's lived, this is the very first Thanksgiving she'll ever have alone. But she's safe, so that's what matters. And I used to hear this song. It's High Lily, High Low. I used to hear this song when I was a kid, and it was Roger Williams. So it was an instrumental, piano instrumental. I didn't even know it had words. And then when I did read the words years later, it kind of puzzled me because my mother is this life force. She's so joyous and charming and optimistic, and the song does have hope, but there's something very bittersweet about it. And you can't go through 90 plus years of life without the extremes of tragedy and joy, right? And my mother has certainly had hers. So it kind of made me go, yeah, my mom's this complex kind of person. She's kind of cool, right? So for all of you sentimentalists and all of you cockeyed optimists, this is for you too. On every tree there sits a bird singing a song of love. On every tree there sits a bird, and every song I ever heard could break my heart without a word. Singing a song of love. A song of love is a sad song. Hi lily, hi lily, hi low. A song of love is a song of woe. Don't ask me how I know. A song of love is a sad song, for I have loved, and it's so. I sit by my window and watch the rain. Hi lily, hi lily, hi low. Tomorrow I'll probably love again. Hi lily, hi lily. Love makes the world go round. Love makes the world go round. Somebody soon will love you if no one loves you now. High in the silent sky, love sings a silver song, making the earth whirl softly. Love makes the world go round. A tear for him, a tear for me, a tear for the love he swore. A tear for him and one for me, and one for under the cedar tree, and one for wherever my love may be. And then I shall weep no more. Love hi lily, hi low. Somebody soon will love you. Hi lily, hi lily, hi low. High in the silent sky, hi lily, hi lily, hi low. Tomorrow I'll probably love again. Love makes the world. Tomorrow I'm going to love again. Love makes the world go round. Hi, Lily. Okay. Happy Thanksgiving, people. So we have one more song for you, but before we get to that, I wanted to mention that I don't know about you guys, but I've been very distracted these last several weeks. And so last week, the nominations for Broadway World Awards came out, and I was like, oh my gosh, I've been so distracted. I missed all of it, and I thought, if I don't go in and vote now, I won't. I will forget. I'm just, everything's a little crazy. So I went in. There's a lot of categories, and I'm just going through them. I get to category number 31, and lo and behold, my show is listed. I didn't nominate it. I checked with, it's the Aaron and Some Flaherty show that I did with Alex Ryback as a music director and Andrea Marcovici, who directed it. I asked them, none of them did it, which means that somebody nominated us, which I have to tell you was really kind of exciting to see. So whoever that secret person is, it was a lovely surprise. I really enjoyed it. And if you want to vote, if you've seen the show or you want to check out our clips, please go and do it, whatever. And I also have to mention that category number 2, which is for best arrangements, we have another artist who's performing in the show tonight, and his name is Christopher Denny. Christopher, congratulations on your nomination.
Thank you very much.
Did you know that you were nominated?
Somebody told me, and I think also the show I did with Karen Mason was nominated, and I was listed in that. So the one that we broadcast from Mamas. So you see, it's always a big surprise with Broadway World. I don't know until somebody tells me usually.
Yeah, well, so ladies and gentlemen, 2 Broadway World nominated artists are going to be performing one more song for you tonight. And the song is, well, since we last met, there was an election. And wow, once it was so clear and decisive and historic, once we knew what had happened, it reminded me of something that I've really tried to hammer into my children, which is this idea that it is so important for human beings to understand that their singular soul self has so much power. And when you look at the results, over 150 million people voted, but all we needed was 6 million of those individuals who did vote. All we needed was for them to decide that their vote didn't matter. And if they had done that, there would have been a different result. So, this is a song arranged by the Christopher Denny to thank you and to celebrate all of you who really took to heart your power of one. Life can seem a challenge. Life can seem impossible. It's never easy when so much is on the line. With courage, you can set things right. The gift to dream and make dreams real are yours and mine. The power of one begins with believing. It starts in the heart and flows through the soul and changes the world. Imagine how life will be when we stand in unity. Each of us holds the key to the power of one. Each of us is chosen. There's a mission just for you. Just look inside, you'll be surprised what you can do. The power of one begins with believing. It starts in the heart and flows through the soul and changes the world. Imagine how life will be when we stand in unity. One by one, by one, the power of one begins with believing. It starts in the heart and changes the world. Imagine how life will be when we stand in unity. Each of us holds the key. It's inside of you and me. Each of us holds the key to the power of one. The power of Thank you, everyone. The show must go on online. See you next time. Thank you. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Chris.